last time we've heard of Oddisee and his musical endeavors was back in 2017 in the album titled The Iceberg, which I highly encourage you guys to listen to. And now, after 3 years of hiatus or inactivity in terms of any form of musical release, Oddisee and his good band, The Good Company, is back with an EP titled The Odd Cure. And whenever him and his band would link up and do a project together, I would always expect some great groovy jazz-inspired hip-hop with a little Afrocentric disco twist in it, and they sound amazing live when I saw them. To be honest, that's what I expect from any sort of his projects generally. But what I didn't expect was the themes that we got. The EP has a very vivid theme of COVID-19 and how that affects Oddisee's mental state, his family's well-being, as well as his extended family's well-being. From his dad in Sudan, his mother, his grandmother, his friends, even his touring manager all the way in Germany. There's a lot of humanity and a lot of interesting personal elements that weaves and bends and gels together in this project here. And if I were to lay down the dirty laundry right away in terms of what I think is a bit of a negative, is that I feel sonically it does feel a bit muddied and cloudy at times, actually most of the times. I don't know if it's because Oddisee and his band couldn't meet up with each other because of social distancing, hence sort of the mixing and craft wasn't all together there, or sort of external factors that plays into this, but I definitely notice the muddied mixing right away when I listen to this project. And I want to go back to the aspect of craft here, and I think it's because of the aspect of social distancing. They can come together and bounce off ideas and bounce off chemistry. For me personally, it didn't have the sort of pizzazz and super technicalities that I would have liked in their instrumentals and Oddisee's flows. But overall, this project, I really did enjoy it. Regardless of the sonic-based critiques of mixing or maybe even expectation of craft in the technicalities that I was expecting, I really did enjoy this jazz-centered, Afro-centered project that Oddisee and Good Company has managed. It's a lot of wholesome themes and a lot of positive themes, but it has a bit of socially tinted themes as well, tucked in between. I like the opening track, The Cure, with, I can only assume, is Oddisee St. Louis on the hook there. The jangly percussions and the infectious bass lines are fun. Oddisee has this really fast and rapid, infectious flow that goes along with the instrumentals and the percussions very well. I Thought You Were Fate with Oddisee St. Louis, and I'm gonna read the name here, Saint Ezekiel, is another great banger that is just a great fun jazz rap track there. I love the sample chops that Oddisee has managed to put here. It's a bit of edginess to the already somber grooves that he's managed to put. The closer, Go to Mars with Oddisee St. Louis, is probably my favorite track in the whole entire EP here. I think it's a fitting track to close on given the fact of the themes of COVID-19. The track dwells on the aspect of escapism. I want to go to Mars, I want to be free, I want to be out of this sort of insane pandemic debacle. Oddisee has a great melodic delivery and his sort of somber singing. He shows a lot of passion, a lot of sort of empathy, a lot of sincerity. It's just a nice, beautiful voice to listen to. It's not sort of like, I don't know, a Weeknd sort of voice, but it's just so earnest and so passionate and so emotional in a positive, very positive way that you can't help but smile when you listen to it. And with the flows, I love the way he just plays around with it. It's really fun to hear. As I mentioned before, this album has a theme on how Oddisee sees his life and how Oddisee sees his family life go through in terms of how the pandemic affects them. It almost feels like a journal, and he gels this beautifully with the skits that are tucked in between the songs here. I've never been a fan or a huge fan of skits, but I think what's so endearing about Oddisee's Odd Cure skits here is because he's just talking with his social circles, with his friends, and a lot of positivity that you can't help but think to yourself, man, I hope this pandemic is over so that Oddisee and his friends, or ourselves with our families and our friends, can get together and catch up. When I listen to the skits, it's just a lot of good chemistry between the family, and it feels like you're part of the family along with it. And although he has a lot of positive messaging and a lot of positive themes that he's managed to get through in this EP, he's not too shy to delve into serious business here. Going back to the track The Cure, I think the following line really summarizes how Oddisee and how I feel about how this pandemic is affecting different social classes. Is it recess or recession? Bit worried cause I ain't stressing. One side said, we gonna hit an incline. Other side said, we are in the end time. To some, there's a lot of positive implications in this very unfortunate pandemic, in a sense that, don't worry, we're gonna make it out. But I'm pretty sure most of us, especially with the lower class, think, how are we going to recover for such a devastating economic turmoil that we're in right now? And that's what I really love about Oddisee, especially how he delivers his lines. He can deliver very earnest, emotional, heartfelt, poignant, tactical lines about social issues as well as his personal issues, but he doesn't throw it at you to the point that you are slapped in the face. He just lets it out in a very poignant and very concise manner and let you just soak in, and eventually you'll have the action of, oh, now I get it. I like that sort of rappers because it's not slapping people in the face. It allows the audience to think, and it acknowledges that we are not as dumb as some artists think we are. And most of all, it just doesn't sound preachy. I also love the track The Cure in that he shows how he is coping with this mess of a pandemic in his own mental state. How he says that if he is laughing, he's more worried than ever, and if he's making a joke, he's absolutely paranoid. It shows more humanity than what is already present in this EP. My least favorite track on the album is probably still Strange, with the feature I'm gonna read again because I can't remember, Priya Ragu and Saint Ezekiel. I understand the sentiment, I understand the messaging, I understand the themes, but I really wish he could have executed a bit better in terms of the craft, in terms of his flows, and in terms of the mixing as well, because I do get this really clear divide of what artists use what mics, in a sense of Oddisee is using a different mic to the features here. The topic of relationships in the pandemic era is a very interesting topic to listen to sort of hear the different opinions on, because, and especially on Oddisee's side of the story, whereby he just got back from a tour in Thailand and all of a sudden everything's closed in New York. So much so he's paranoid that he got the virus, even though he didn't. He self-isolated himself in his studio for 14 days, cutting connection from his wife and his kid. So I felt like there's something more that he could have worked with that there. And maybe I'm sort of complaining too much, but I did like the instrumentals here quite a bit. I love the prickly guitar pickings here with the thick bass lines. And that's another thing about Oddisee albums, or Oddisee and Good Compny albums. The bass playing is masterful. And I want to get his name right. The bass playing by this person named Dennis Turner from The Good Company is absolutely great. He knows how to use his technicalities to amp up a song from something already lively to amazingly groovy, from something somber to something that wells of emotions. Shoot Your Shot, I think, has a great overall songwriting holistically. The tambourine focused percussions is infectious. I love it. Oddisee addresses the aspect of trust issues between two different groups. Though he didn't clearly mention who these two groups are, you can kind of tell who they are. How Group A is so distrustful towards Group B, even though Group B is open-armed, welcoming and nice to them. Take a life, take a job, take a job, take a life. I'm just trying to lift my burden, and your loss gets it light. I think this line very much summarizes the aspect of the different effects of how the pandemic, not only in pandemic, but like racial issues that is happening. And the way he just delivers it is, again, very poignant, very somber. It just allows you to think even more. And that's what I really love about Oddisee. So that's my review on Oddisee's Odd Cure or Oddisee and and Good Compny album project, Odd Cure. I really dig this project and I really encourage you to listen to. Funny enough, this isn't a release in Mellow Music Group. This EP is released under Outer Note label. I don't know if that's Oddisee's very own record company, but it's interesting. I didn't realize it until I did some last minute checking for this review. And yeah, so he's out of Mellow Music Group right now, and I'm really curious on how that move in his career will affect his music. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to follow my Instagram account for more content, and I'll see you guys soon. Stay safe. Peace.